I'm Francesca Maxime, and this is Currents. 6 months after the devastating earthquake, Haitians have a place to turn, but how many of them are doing so?
They fear that after 18 months and the period for TPS is over, that they will then be immediately deported.
And we'll look at a project making that country greener and give it hope for the future.
We're hoping that people can begin to make life on their own.
And Haitians face new challenges away from home.
It is hard to not know what will happen to you in a few days or next month.
Well, good evening and thank you for joining us. Matt McClure has the night off. 6 months ago, this was the scene in Haiti. A massive earthquake devastated the island nation. And for the thousands of Haitians in Brooklyn and Queens, it meant uncertainty for family back home and for their own futures. Tonight, it's a special edition of Currents devoted to Haiti 6 months later. We start off with a look at Temporary Protected Status, or TPS, which would prevent Haitians here illegally from being deported to a country that could not begin to support them. In the days following the earthquake, the Department of Homeland Security offered TPS to Haitians, but even now, a large number of them have not applied for it. Ingrid Rojas set out to discover why.
The number of Haitians applying for temporary protected status is unexpectedly low, and officials with the Catholic Migration Office are concerned about this.
And we feel that the number's low, even though we're overwhelmed by the numbers at our offices.
In an effort to do more outreach, a staff attorney with the Catholic Migration Office presented key points in the application process to social workers of Catholic charities.
Well, we've been working for the last 2 months, reaching out to a number of different parishes and making presentations and also processing people at our office in Brooklyn. As it stands now, we've only processed 200 clients. Standardly, we believe that it's a very low number.
And it's not only low in Brooklyn. Nationwide, the government estimated that 100,000 applications would be filed, but to date, there have been half as many. In New York State, home to one of the largest Haitian immigrant communities, only 7,000 applications have been received. The reasons for the low turnout vary, but to those working with the Haitian community, there is one main reason.
What we see right now is fear and lack of understanding. I think they fear that because they're currently undocumented, they fear that after 18 months and the period for TPS is over, that they will then be immediately deported. However, what we hear is that historically, countries that had been granted TPS in the past, such as Honduras, that has been extended over and over, and now it's been going for 10 years. We do not expect that the situation in Haiti would improve in 18 months to the point that it can now absorb the returning residents.
Another issue is money. It's $470 without, without an additional fee for an attorney or anything like that. That's just the government fee. That's a lot of money for people who especially don't even have work authorization.
And $470 is the individual application fee, making it costly for families in which more than one member is applying for TPS. A fee waiver is available with proof of low income, but that documentation is hard to come by for those working off the books. But many believe the benefits of TPS far outweigh the initial cost.
What are the benefits of TPS? Now, the benefits are that you can't be deported during that time. You're eligible for employment authorization. You're eligible for a travel document, and you're considered to be in lawful non-immigrant status during that time.
And with those benefits in mind, many Haitians like Valerie and her mom are applying for TPS. They asked us not to reveal their identities. Valerie is 21 and attending college at the City University of New York. She and her mom have been living illegally in Brooklyn for the last 10 years. And as soon as they heard about TPS being available, they applied.
When I found out about it, it felt like an open door. What made me decide to go for it is the ability to work. Not having your documentation in this country is very hard to find a job. And if I did find a job, it was a paying off the book, and it was pretty hard because the paying was not, it doesn't pay you minimum wage, it pays you less than minimum wage, and some people take advantage of you not having your documents.
Valerie already received a work permit and a social security number, which enables her to open a bank account and to have other advantages that she's looking forward to.
Now I filed for health insurance, so I'm just waiting to hear from them if I'm qualified or if I'm not. And I'm hoping to get some type of financial aid for school, because being undocumented, if you don't have any scholarships, you have to pay off pocket, and it's pretty expensive.
Valerie knows that even though TPS is not a path to citizenship, it is an opportunity that she cannot afford to pass up. And as the deadline for applying for TPS nears, officials hope more Haitians will take part.
Well, I really hope that the Haitians who do qualify for TPS do step forward, because it really is a rare opportunity for the undocumented with the TPS, to have legal status.
We're encouraging all those that feel that they're eligible to call our office, ask questions, come down to our offices, and please call 718-236-3000.
718-236-3000. Well, Haitians still have the opportunity to register for TPS, but time is running out. The deadline is July 20th. We've posted more information about it on our blog. Just head to currentsny.net and click on Riding the Wave. Well, stay tuned. There's much more current straight ahead when we return. The day's headlines, including rebuilding efforts in another earthquake-ravaged country. But first, over the weekend, we went to some Brooklyn parishes to ask people about their thoughts and prayers for Haiti. Throughout the show, we'll hear from them.
I was home.
I was at my aunt's house.
I was in the city working.
I was home, and word traveled fast throughout my family once the story came through on the news.
I was flipping over, and I see breaking news.
And I saw they said earthquake in Haiti. And I started to call all my friends from my church.
I was in my office at work, and I called the school right after that, because we have a number of Haitian children in our school.
I came home around 5, and my aunt said, she called me and she told me to turn on the TV because an earthquake just happened. And I turned it on and I saw the horror.
Welcome back to this special edition of Currents. I'm Francesca Maxime. Coming up later, Haitians here in Brooklyn are still looking for answers 6 months after the earthquake. But first, let's have a look at the day's headlines. The tough economy spares no one, not even the Vatican, which reported a loss of $5.2 million last year. That came even as annual donations from the Peters Pence collections increased from the previous year. Most of the Holy See's expenses were for Pope Benedict's activities and Vatican radio. Belgian Cardinal Godfrey Daniels is filing a complaint following a second leak about investigations into sex abuse in Belgium. A spokesman for the Cardinal says that although Daniels has been exonerated, his reputation is tarnished beyond repair. The Anglican Communion may be closer to schism. A group of conservative Anglicans rejected a plan over the weekend that would have created a group of male-only bishops in their church. Ordaining female bishops has become a divisive issue in the Church of England. Haiti isn't the only country looking to recover from the effects of a massive earthquake. In Chile, pastoral workers met with officials from the Catholic charity Caritas to discuss ongoing efforts to rebuild there. According to one Caritas official, natural disasters contribute to a vicious cycle of poverty because the poor are highly vulnerable. Turning to Haiti, that country's social problems only intensified after the devastating earthquake. Fortunately, help is on the way, with organizations stepping in to offer Haitians a hand. In the wake of Haiti's massive earthquake January 12th, over 200,000 people were killed and 3 million were left without homes or jobs, an all too scarce resource where an estimated 7 of every 10 people are poor. Aid programs that existed before the disaster are responding to Haiti's new needs with new initiatives. Zephen.org, in Haiti since 2009, aims to create new sustainable jobs in a unique way, using microloans to finance business projects.
estos proyectos de alguna forma.
These products, so far as I understand, translate the Vicention ideal into modern terms. There's a need for direct aid, but we can't just continue giving direct aid. It's simply the first step toward progress so that the poor can eventually help themselves.
ZEFN, which means it's our business in Haitian Creole, allows businesses and individuals in Haiti to present their business models online. Selected projects receive interest-free loans. Donated money goes directly to a project, and donors can follow its progress online. Projects focus mainly on ecology and education. For $5, you can plant a tree in a country that is only 6% green. You can also fund scholarships for children to go to school.
We have some other projects that where some of the universities that the congregation and the mission have in the United States have offered scholarships to young people in Haiti in order that they, with the condition that they receive their education and they give back to their country.
The first project ZEFN.org financed was a company that produces charcoal from vegetable waste, costing $1,000. With 30 projects under its belt, ZEFN.org dreams of one day working in other countries to help more small businesses. And finally, a man nicknamed the Voice of God has died.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Yankee Stadium.
Bob Shepard was best known as the public address announcer at Yankee Stadium. Less known, he attended Mass daily, taught speech at St. John's University, and coached forensics at Mary Louis Academy in Queens. Shepard died this weekend at his home on Long Island. He was 99. Well, we have more current straight ahead, but first, as we continue our look at Haiti, 6 months after the earthquake, we hear again from parishioners in Brooklyn.
I have hope and faith that it will recover, but it will take certainly a lengthy period for it to recover.
Not totally. It'll be like New Orleans. It's going to be a long, arduous road.
I hope they do. I don't know how, but I hope they do. I have that hope.
There's always hope.
They're strong people. They will recover. With the help of other nations, they will come back.
For what I've seen, I still don't think Haiti will never be the same anymore. I don't know how it's going to be.
I think Haiti is going to take years to recover because people are not taking seriously things. People are thinking about their pocket.
Haiti recovered from a lot of stuff. I don't see why not. There's a lot of prayers. Haitian prays a lot and everything. I'm sure Haiti will recover. When and how long will it take? That's another question.
Welcome back to our special coverage of Haiti 6 months after the devastating earthquake. The world has watched that island nation struggle to rebuild, but the work is far from over. Someone who knows that intimately is Father Donaldson Thevenin, coordinator of the Haitian Apostolate for the Diocese of Brooklyn. Thank you for joining us today on Currents.
Thank you, Francesca. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you. And I know we spoke 6 months ago about this when it first happened, but if you were in church yesterday, there was the Sermon of the Good Samaritan, which you said, tell us what the message of that is and what it means to our neighbors in Haiti.
Yesterday's gospel was very heart, not breaking, but very moving because of the fact that a teacher of the law asked Jesus, "Teacher, what must I do to inherit eternal life?" It's a question that we still, in the 21st century, we've been asking ourselves, what must I do to inherit the eternal life? Jesus' answer to him was, what did it say in the law? The teacher of the law said, well, it says you shall love the Lord God with all your mind, with all your strength, with all your soul, and to love your neighbor as yourself. And Jesus said, do this and you will live. Mm-hmm. But he said, who's my neighbor? And the Lord Jesus gave him the parable of the Good Samaritan. A man fell down by the roadside, being beaten to death, being left on the road half dead, and now you have a priest passing by, saw him, walked on the other side. A Levite did the same thing, saw the guy on the ground, crossed over, and ignored him. Mm-hmm. Until a Samaritan passing by, traveling on that road, saw the guy, got down, helped the guy, fixed his wounds, cured him, took him to an inn, and asked even the innkeeper, give him 2 silver coins, telling him, take good care of him. If you spend more on my way back, I will repay you.
Right.
And Jesus said, from your point of view, who's neighbor to that guy? And the lawyer said, well, the one who showed compassion, the one who treated him with mercy. But now Jesus is telling us, is asking us to consider the entire creation as being our neighbor.
Our neighbors just aren't the people that we pass by on
There
the
you
road,
go.
but they're the people that we may or may not even know personally, including our neighbors in Haiti, because there are, of course, a lot of Haitians here in the Brooklyn area as well. So are we being good neighbors? Have we been good neighbors to the people in Haiti? And what are we doing locally to be good neighbors to our fellow Haitians here in Brooklyn?
What happened on January 12 in the evening, the aftermath of it, the immediate response of the international community was tremendous. The very next day, on Wednesday, the world stood behind Haiti. The United States as well. First thing first, let's help Haiti. Let's help the Haitians. We here in Brooklyn, we did the same thing, but now 6 months later, have we been keeping with our promises?
And a lot of the complaints, if you will, have been that even if donations have been made, funds have been given, they're not necessarily getting to where they need to be.
Getting there. What happened, Red Cross have received billions, and the Bush and Clinton Foundation have received billions as well. Countries and people, Good Samaritan, had promised to give millions, had promised to give and help Haiti. These promises have not been met yet. These people who have promised to help, I don't know, for some reason, they're not responding to their promise. And at the same time, even the Red Cross, they're receiving money, but yet still in Haiti, the people there, they're not getting the help.
They're still suffering, they're still intense, and they're still without water and medical care.
And even sometimes they would stand in line for food, and they're not getting the food.
Let's talk about some of the Haitians that are here. The temporary protected status that was passed, it expires on January 20th. Are people taking advantage of it here? Are there a lot of Haitians that you've seen that have applied?
It's been granted since January 20th, and the deadline for it will be is actually next Tuesday, July 20th. At first, we realized that not too many people are applying for it, but still at this time, some people coming from the woodlock, understanding that they have to do it, they need to do this, they need to apply for it. And so far, we have a good number of people applying for it. Okay. Even last week, as far as last week, a couple from Holy Cross came over to me all the way in Cambria Heights, asking me to help them with regard to
TPS.
With the TPS.
Okay, so until the 20th, that's when the deadline is.
That's the deadline.
We're running out of time, but we spoke, as I mentioned, when we started 6 months ago when the earthquake happened. Where do you see us 6 months from now in regard to Haiti, and where do we see Haiti and even the Haitian community here in Brooklyn as well, 6 months from now?
6 months from now, if we're not doing the work, it's as if we say to a person, go home and you will be fine, without helping that person. Because observing Haitians in Haiti, what are we doing? Are we trying to maintain the status quo? Are we trying to let them see that it's okay, it's fine, we only have to give them food and that's it? Or are we going to try to give them housing? Are we going to try to build houses for them and help them to maintain their human dignity?
Right.
That's the question. Because if we are collecting money to help, first we said to relieve them. Relieve them from what?
Right. What is the structural things that we can do to help them have a continued good life, not just alleviate the symptoms now?
If we maintain them in the tent cities, as we call them, in the tents, just give them food and water, that's it, we're not helping them.
Right. Teach them how to fish.
Teach them how to fish. There you go.
Okay.
Because instead of giving food, teach them how to fish. That way, you will help millions.
Father Donaldson, that is all we have time for today, but we thank you so much for joining us on Currents.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me as well to be here.
As other crises have taken over the headlines, many Haitians cannot help but wonder if the world has forgotten about them. Some we met spoke about that yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unfortunately, yes, the world has forgotten. It's short attention span.
I don't think so.
No. Haiti's there.
We have forgotten ourselves.
not the world. We got to do things for ourselves first.
I thought so, but I don't think so now. It seems there's going to be a little more interest.
I don't say completely forgotten, but I think it is not taking the priority or precedence that it had in the beginning.
Finally tonight, the aftershocks of Haiti's quake are continuing to be felt here in New York. Some Haitians who were relocated here after the quake are facing new challenges every day and new obstacles to rebuilding their lives, as we hear from producer Ingrid Rojas.
Andre Jolicoeur is on his way to the Elmont Public Library, or to his office, as he likes to call it.
May I have that book, please? Thank you very much.
Ever since he arrived in Queens after the Haitian earthquake, he uses this library as his home base. And these days, home is an elusive concept for Andre, as he has been without a home since the earthquake.
We were on the street like everybody, living in a tent city, instantly. Instantly, we were living in a tent city. We had no house.
Andre, a physician specializing in public health, lived in Port-au-Prince with his wife and 11-year-old daughter. 5 days after the earthquake, he and his daughter, a U.S.-born citizen, were airlifted to Orlando. They later arrived at a family friend's house in Elmont, Queens, which has been hosting them since.
Unfortunately, it was not possible to evacuate her with both parents. So I came here with her. My wife stayed 2 or 3 more days before being evacuated over to Canada.
And the family separation is just one of their problems. Andre arrived in the U.S. on a tourist visa, which means that he can't legally work. And to make matters worse, his visa is about to expire.
We face a lot of challenges. First, the situation of being without a work permit, not being able to work and provide for ourselves, dependency, uncertainty about the future. It is hard to not know what will happen to you in a few days or next month.
And Andre is hardly alone in this situation. Like him, there are thousands of Haitians who have arrived on tourist visas. For many, it was a quick way out of a devastated Haiti, but it has evolved into a whole new set of problems.
You find yourself in limbo. You have a tourist visa and you cannot convert it to, to anything that you want.
Okay, Andre, do me a favor, sign and pass it down, please.
Every Friday, Andre attends a support group for earthquake survivors run by Catholic Charities. Today's lesson is subway survival. Since the group started back in February, about 80 people have come seeking their services.
Of the people who come to the support group, their circumstances are dire. Primarily, they're coming and they're staying with friends or families, but after a very short period of time, the honeymoon is over, and they have to find alternate living arrangements. They're all coming in as visitors, which means they're not allowed to work. So if they're not authorized to work, they have no means of supporting themselves. Some who have American-born children are entitled to WIC, food stamps, public assistance. But if you're a single individual and you have no children, you basically have no means of financial support.
And unlike Haitians who were in the U.S. before January 12th and got temporary protected status, this group of people who were directly impacted by the earthquake is hardly getting any aid.
This population is definitely vulnerable to kind of slipping through the cracks.
Krista Stewart is the manager of the Newcomer Transition Unit working on site at New York's Haitian Earthquake Family Resource Center at the Bedford Armory. Since the center opened in February, they have seen an increase in Haitians arriving on tourist visas.
You know, a lot of attention, of course, and rightfully so, is paid right to Haiti, where there needs to be infrastructure developed, as well as the population here that's also helping to support them and that needed to come out of the shadows. However, this group really does remain very vulnerable.
No doubt the situation is difficult for Andre and others like him. But thanks to the support group, he's been able to not only share experiences with others in the same situation, but he's also been able to walk away with groceries, clothing, and a full belly. Despite all he's been through, Andre is thankful for all the help he's received. However, charity only goes so far.
Do I think that the American government has done something for me. There is no question about it. We are fortunate, and we are fortunate because we were airlifted by the American military from Haiti. But I think there were something also to be done for people who came after the earthquake and who find themselves in a situation where there is no way forward, there is no way backward. And something should be contemplated for those people as well.
And there is much more about how you can help the people of Haiti over on our blog. Just visit currentsny.net and click on Riding the Wave. Well, that is it for tonight. Coming up tomorrow, the Feast of the Giglio is underway in Williamsburg, and we'll hear from one of the most important people there, the capo. Until then, remember, you can check us out on Facebook, and if you have an idea for a story, or if you just want to get in touch, you can always drop us a line at currentsny@currentsny.net. Until next time, I'm Francesca Maxime. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a great night.